Well, at least you tried. I'll start with that. So these are the first headphone from Little Dot. Little Dot, the tube company. Like the tube amp company, like Little Dot. Like you all know Little Dot. Little Dot. I'll link to something that Little Dot makes that we all know in the description. And above that will be the link to these, which is the GYFU. All right. It's a C and then a U and then a degrees symbol and then a GYFU, the GYFU. I don't know how you want to call these. All right, there's a big X on it. It reminds me of X-Files. Mold used to put the X on the thing. The Cancer Man would come out. And so okay. I love when companies try something new. Absolutely do it. Do it. I've got so many headphones and I've gotten yelled at by people like, well, Zeus, you can't just like something because it's different. You just got to give people the same recommendation that's guaranteed. And it's like, no, I like different. I like the Nighthawks were great because they were different. They definitely were not going to appease everybody, but they were different and they worked in some very small little margin. People wanted that sound. So I'll never just shit on a headphone for being different. As long as I can figure out, who wants it. And as long as it's not falling apart and done wrong. So it is with great dismay I have to list a lot of the issues with the Little Dot CUGYFU because I want them to keep going in this orientation. It's a great way to go about it. For your first headphone to go this fucking hog-ass wild is just like amazing. It's an amazing step. But it's a first headphone, and I've had a couple, like the Fio, when Fio made their first Bluetooth over-ear headphone, it was a first headphone, and you could tell it was a first headphone. There's a little problems. Where do I begin? I'm going to go over the problem. There are some benefits. Look, if you have a set of these and they work perfectly and you're happy with them and they don't have the slight flaws that I have in mine, by all means, be happy. Don't be disappointed in them. You put your neck out for a company that has never done something like this. In fact, no company's done anything like this. And if it works, it's great. But let's start. So the name. This is not how you sell a headphone. You call it the Little Dot X headphone or the X phone. That's fine. Not the that's not a thing. If you don't know why these are special, these come with it's a dual driver system. They call it a triple driver. In fact, it's even carved into the box. Original coaxial 3 dynamic headphone, sharing the benefit of advancement. I'm all for trying something new. By the way, the box is warped. I don't know if you could see that, but it doesn't sit flat on my table. This it's not like the table is fucked up. It's literally the box is like bent like a sandwich. We open it up. It says, means gift in runes. The word gift has senses. There's a whole spiel. I'm going to take out the original cable because that's what really started it off for me. Here's the bag it came with. Here's the book it comes with. The inside of the box. I knew something was wrong. I didn't even notice the warping on the box until just today on the table. So let's open it back up. And it's box. All right, it's good. It's got the flary flying on it. The fact that there's glue and then this is they put too much foam in and it curled up into a bubble. And I'm like, all right. So they ordered their boxes from someone who wasn't as reliable as a box maker. Then we got to the wire. I think that's my adapter. So it's got these beautifully heavy, and I mean heavy. They're not stainless steel. These are steel. Or these are some sort of heavy, Gundanium alloy metal fucking ends and tips. And the split, it's like a diamond. But it's it weighs as much as a diamond. They're so heavy. Everything's so heavy on this wire. And then you go, okay, why is it janky? It's a fabric two-wire twist. How is it janky? And then you follow it, and it's well, this twisting seems, oh God. They fucked that up. Do you see the fuck up? Do you see where it's straight for 2 inches? And then continues back? And you can't fix it. You can't fix it. So it's just there. It's a 3.5 millimeter. So that's automatically, you know how much these headphones cost? These are $550 on Linsol. $550. So you got a warpy box. The wire has got stretched. The wire's done poorly. I like the wire. I like everything else about it. I like these insanely heavy connectors. I'm okay with this. They exude quality in some weird fashion. Although this, I have to apologize. I just did the sound demo before this review, and this thing kept smashing into the tiles, and it's going to probably deafen a few of you. By the way, sound demos are on another channel now. Link in the description to the sound demo on the sound demo channel. So you can subscribe to that. So I don't hate that it has these heavy ends. They're a little bit heavier than I would like, considering they're all made of like galvanized painted steel. But they fucked up it never stops being loopy and twisted. It's got these weird connotations. Okay, they fucked up the wire bit. They fucked up the box, they fucked up the wire, and they fucked up the name. And then we get to the headphones, and they are very similar to a lot of headphones I reviewed in the past, the blondes and things like that. They have a very Sivga headband, because a lot of these companies just pick them out of a bin. You can recognize this whole system, only it's all black. It has X and then the picture of the fairy, and then this is actually thicker and softer than it is on most of the revisions of this headband, but they didn't finish it properly because it's just got shit like falling out, like it's unfinished. Like, I usually give like Chinese headphones a pass if they're just a little bit off, but there's so many little things. Like, they improved the softness of this, great, but they couldn't tuck in the fabric or trim it properly. It's a $550 headphone. So we've got the same mechanism. The wood cups look perfectly fine. These are, I forget what, Madagascar and fucking whatever. And then we get to the pads. And, actually, before we get to the pads, that, I didn't know what that was until I looked at this side, and I went, oh, that's the letter R. So that's the letter L. So that's the L and R indicators are fucking wild font. Like, just like, what is this font? They've chosen this font and they've run with it everywhere. The back plates has a Z in it, so I love that completely. Wooden cups, they don't feel like it's not gonna break. It's not like falling apart, gonna break. That's just bad trim. It's overlapping here. It's just like I gotta pick it up and see the foam. It's a first headphone. These are all things I would literally go, okay, it's a first headphone. It's not that expensive, but it is that expensive. So I have to angry a little bit. So this is not the stock cable. This is a Heart audio cable. They sent me a bunch, and it's going balanced because it is obviously not balanced into the IFI IDSD Neo. Neo? Yes. Actually, I haven't used the Neos on the Neo. The pads. And I opened it up and I went, okay, wait. That's right. That's left. Look at the pads. And the pads came backwards, or at least I thought they were backwards, because they're a wedge pad, and you could see that the wedge is like that, and it's thicker on this side and thinner on this side where the seams are. And I'm like, wait, why are the pads backwards? Did they fuck up something else at the factory? And apparently no. You can choose tuning modes, and the tuning mode is literally fat part of the pad in front or fat part of the pad in back. And I applaud them. It actually does have a decent sound change. You go from slightly muddy extreme bass with the thick part in the front to a little bit clearer but wider at the back. There's a change. There's an actual change. However, I do think that's a bit of a cop-out. Like, anybody can do fat part front on any headphone. I'm going to take off the pads on one side now, and I'm going to show you what they've done. So we've got a bias front driver down there, then a metal cover with holes, then this plastic cover on top, and then that is the 8mm, it's wired with little tiny wires. That's the secondary driver. So it is a coaxial. They have put a small driver in front of a big driver. And then what they're counting as a third is that back here somewhere you can see there's like a wooden diaphragm that's like, it counts as their third driver, which brought me back to bringing these out of retirement. These are the one more multi-driver headphone, the Tridents, which have, as you can see, that's that shiny bit there, is a literal plastic wall that flexes. Then there's a driver behind that plastic wall. Then there's the actual headphone driver, and then in front, behind these perforations, is a 10mm ceramic driver. So this is called the triple, and this is claims to be a triple, but this has just a regular driver, and then the other driver is in front, where this has a regular driver, and then the driver is in the center. By the way, getting to take these out again is fantastic. I'll link them if they're available. They're not comfortable at all, and they need a lot of power for a portable headphone, but my God, they still deliver. But these, so here's the issue. Number one, my set rattles. The left side, and I heard it, because I did the sound demo first, before I did my listening and then sat here to do it. And I'm like, huh, I could have sworn, because when I play sound demos, it tends to be a little bit quieter. Like the volume I listen at versus the volume the microphones want to be played to is different. So when I put them on my head after the sound demo and I started using them, and I turned the volume up, I'm like, oh, that rattle that I thought I heard totally wasn't the microphones being bombarded with air. It was totally something is mechanically failing. And that was on this side, and you can't even check because you've got so much going on here between this and the wires and the cover, then the other metal cover, and then the driver underneath. It's just, of course, something's going to go wrong. There's just so many layers you're trying to squeeze in there with things at the bottom cost assembly requirements. The pads themselves are nice, except one of the other things that I was going to complain is when they move like this, that you hear the shifting. It's like a shh. So when they're on your head and you're just like moving them on your head, you can hear the scraping because there's a metal liner in here. In fact, here you could see there's a stiff plastic, my bad, not metal, plastic. There's a stiff plastic ring which they put in to hold the shape so when you rotate it, it doesn't flop off the headphone, because that's how you do the tunings. And as that shifts around, because it's not like perfect fit, it still moves, you will hear shh. So once you're not moving, it's fine, but it's still there. And I don't hear the benefit. Here's the biggest problem, is that after all of this, after all this effort and going through it all and giving me a fucking $550 headphone that has multiple drivers and the backstop is, I don't hear the benefit of putting that little piezo tweeter 8mm thing in this headphone at all, compared to something like the Harmonic Dyne Zeus, which is the other headphone I pulled out just because I'm like, all right, this is $350, this is $550. This is made of wooden dynamic, this is made of wooden dynamic. This has a lot of low end. We're gonna get to the sound signature of this. Thick. Wallpaper for the thumbnail here and wallpaper for the sound demo are both examples of thick. Because when you're tuning a headphone, by the way, I'm having a hard time getting this back on, and I'm Zeos, and I literally put pads on for a living. And if I'm having a hard time getting it on there, then you know you're in trouble, because it's just not the plastic ring. You just got to put this vinyl around. You gotta like do that. But then the plastic starts to stretch and you can't get it in there, so you gotta like gently flip it and then finger it from the, you can't finger it from the inside. I like to finger it from the inside. Then you gotta like stretch it manually from the outside. So I mean, did I try different pads in this? No. It has a rattle in it. That's the death rattle for a review, is when you send me a product and it's not not that it's not, here's the thing. I believe in this concept. I know because of the One More Tridents. And in fact, if you watch my review of the One More Tridents, which I made whenever the fuck that was, 2 years ago, one of my requests was that all headphones should have a secondary driver that does just dedicated treble, and then everything would be great. Because I was like imagining how, because this thing is fucking fantastic. And then we've moved on 2+ years to something like the Harmonic Dyne Zeus, which, I'll pull this off. Again, does that look familiar? Offset driver, but no metal covering it. The exact same, in fact, I don't want to pull it off again. But this is the exact, I'm gonna pull it off again, aren't I? I'm pulling it off again, aren't I? We have got a very, very similar thing going on here. Only they glued a goddamn tweeter to this, and frankly, the metal behind it is the Zeus are better headphones. They just are. And these are better headphones. They just are. Oh, I put the wrong pad over there. I'll put the Zeus pads on here. See what that looks like. Look how much nicer those pads are too. Oh my god. When I first got them and I put them on the burn-in rig on the table back there, my initial thoughts, because all I have to do when I'm putting on the burn-in rig is plug it in and turn the volume knob up till they're just about listening or a little bit higher than listening volume to let them break in. And I didn't notice any driver failure at that point. I don't know if the driver failure occurred or the rattle developed while they were being broken in for 5 to 10 days. Whenever I get around to just using them. That went on real easy. But my initial thoughts when I heard them was, ooh, that's going to be interesting. And then I broke them in, and then I did other things, and I came back to the table, and I'm like, all right, it's time to do the sound demo, get that done real quick. And I'm like, you know what? I really need to get this review done, because there's some... The low end on these is bloated. It's not bad. It's not bad if you want people have asked me, Zeos, why does this suck so bad? Zeos, I want a bass monster headphone. What is the bass monster headphone? And if these didn't have all the other flaws that they have, I'd choose you, Charizard. Because these are, in the words of me, fucking bass monster headphones. But it's not like sub bass. It's just mid bass all the way down to normal bass. And then it sort of maybe has sub bass, but then it's when the rattling curve. Still haven't gotten this on properly, by the way. So I have the pads now thick side back. Jeff Goldblum is playing, which is not a bass song. And the very clear vocals, and then the berm is just rattling the left-hand side, just rattling it bad. Alt J. When you hear the sound demo recorded before my whole complaining rant right now. And I have it adjusted so that it tries to get the low end as accurately represented as possible. And it probably won't be accurately represented as possible either, because it's just this like very warm headphone sound. It's very, very, very in your face with, hey, I do low end. I'm a 2-driver system or a 3-driver system, so they've got the dedicated driver for low end, even though I'm pretty sure it's doing 95% of what it should be doing. And they've got the system behind it. Like right now, the Jaws theme is playing. 3 barrels under from the Jaws OST. And it's like that bump, bump, dun, 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 bump. And I can feel it. It's got decent low end when it's not dubstep. When it's dubstep, then the rattle happens and I want to throw them across the room. But I could see the benefit of a system like this. I can't deny that I want to see more headphones that have tweeters. It's just, I think putting them in the coaxial position in the center probably doesn't work. I'd rather see them moved up a little bit. That's what the One Mores do, is they have it in the front. So you get the side facing whatever is happening, normal headphone stuff, and then you've got this extra bit in the front, and it does create this sound field. This just sounds like standard headphone with extra steps. The driver with the metal in front of it versus like something like the Zeus, which has a driver with nothing in front of it except for the plastic, the very, very open plastic, I think is holding this thing's back in quality. I wanted to be like excited for this, and I was excited for it. I'm like, oh man, they look good too. Until you really start paying attention to the font and the fucking finish, and it's like the wire is bad and the box is warped, and it's like all these things, and then there's a rattle. I think revision 2 of this, if they sell it, they're going to sell enough, because not enough people are going to watch this video because no one shares my videos anymore. But if enough people saw this video and didn't buy it, there may not be a revision 2. I'm kind of hoping less people see this video and make the grave mistake of purchasing this just so that Little Dot can say, oh, we should work on another one. It's a fucked up, it's a double-edged sword. If people watch my video, Little Dot sells none of these, a bad product doesn't go out to market, and then they're done. But if they don't watch this video, they make money and then keep doing, either they have two choices though. That's the future choice. Either they keep making the same shit mistakes, or they finally have the investment and capital and drive to improve the previous model, which wouldn't take much. Ignore the wooden box. We don't need this. Take this off, because whatever this cost you didn't need to include it. I'm a big fan of like nice fancy boxes with like $3,000 headphones. $500. If you're putting 22 of that $500 into a fucking box, I don't want it. Move along. Put the $22 into my pocket or into more shit for the headphones. Fix the fit and finish. You're using a standard headband. This shouldn't be a thing. I know you tried to make it softer, which I appreciate, but if you can't do it and be consistent with the build quality, with the wires and everything, don't. Just use stock off the shelf shit, and also lower the price because you're using stock off the shelf shit. As far as the driver configuration goes, that's where they need the most work. That's where they need to sit down and go, okay, instead of using the standard one, which obviously this is what the Zeus is made out of, is literally the fucking same thing. Let's design our own 3D printed or plastic injection molded shell, because you're a headphone company and you could do that. And let's put the driver further up. Let's make sure we got enough space between the things so nothing rattles. And the pads, while I don't have a real problem with them because they basically are Civica Phoenix pads, with my Civica Phoenix or Sendiiva, they're the fabric with the hex and the perforations on the inside and outside. They're just real thick. They're not memory foam either. They're just pads. I don't hate the pads. Pads are comfortable. The fact that you rotate them around to tune to different tunings is a novel approach to doing it. And I do... Oh, God, this one's hard to turn because it won't go into the hole. Like, I guess my advice is also never take the fucking pads off. Get in there. You bitch. I'm just making it worse. Because I listened to them for the first, few days, just thick part in front. And it's like, oh, yeah, it does. It's more and less, more and less. I get it. I don't know if that's a selling point, because I could say that to almost any angled pad is rotated to the fat part of the front. Like right now here, AC/DC, Back in Black, is doing a live version. He's yelling on stage. It sounds good. It sounds fucking airy and wide. Guitars are playing very right. There's almost no forward. That's another thing. There's almost no forward projection of sound, where if you listen to it, it's like, okay, sound is coming from in front of me and coming to the back. No, the sound is always to the left and right. It's just straight left and right, because you got both drivers crammed to the left and right. Even with the bias to the front like it has it never actually feels like there's any forward movement to the sound. A lot of these headphones will give you like a sound field like this, where things move across, and maybe they move inside your head, or they move slightly by your eyes. This is left and right, right and left. That's it. You get no proper. I'm trying to think of which word would best describe what I'm hearing. Because imaging is just okay. It's not great. Soundstage can be good, but it feels like the soundstage is up too high. Does that make sense? It sounds like the sounds are very, very left and right, and they never really come close enough. There's a delicate balance of sounding natural, and there sounds like we just turned up the soundstage fucking knob magically, and now it's just everything's far away. Everything is fucking far away, and it's kind of too much, and it's not enjoyable at that point. Like, you have to still have sounds come in and be intimate, and then go out. It's all over the place. I would have loved to have gotten this in prototypes. If this was a prototype, if Little Dot contacted me and said, hey, we're going to send you a prototype headphone that's not for sale yet, we're going to see what you think it's worth, what you would change, I would give them this exact same video. I would say, fix your quality control because shit's fucking borked. And then see if you can move that driver forward. Like, they should just move that little tiny tweeted driver forward. Just move it forward. so that we could try to get some more focal. I kind of feel like modifying it myself because it's just like glued there. I could just unglue it and move the wires and put it forward. That's it. I think that's it for this. I don't want to use all my review energy today. I have other things to review on the other side of the basement. So, good try, Little Dot. You fucked up like every single aspect of it. But I like that you went out on a limb and you're like, we're going to do some crazy shit with extra drivers and back panels, and we're going to use zebra wood and you did try. You tried. Keep trying. I want to. You got 6 months, 8 months. Don't rush it. That's another thing when companies rush to bring out the next thing because the first thing either failed or succeeded. Don't rush it. Do it right. And something like this could be huge because right now the Zeus is the line. Is like the holy fuck. It's got low end. It's got width. It's got soundstage. It's lovely to listen to. The pads are exceptional. These are exceptional pads made only for the Zeus. And these are definitely pads they pulled off a shelf and was like, these will work. So there's like, get more. If you're going to charge this sort of money, fuck the box. No one needs the box. If you need the box, by the way, tell me in the comments because I did a whole comment post on the community tab where people, apparently 20-something% of people put it back in the box every night. And I'm like, why? I mean, the only time that would be the case is if I had the Tim socks, which I do have the case next to them, but I never have them in it. So ignore the box, fix the wire. The wire started off well, but you just, if a fabric wire should never feel jank. And this feels jank and twisty, and it shouldn't. Fix things. Just fix it. Just fix it. I feel like Falcon at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Do better. How do you want me to do better? Well, I at least listed every single thing they need to do better. Falcon didn't list shit. Fix it by doing this, and this. And then it'll be perfect. And also, I think coming out $550 for this headphone is a little much. Maybe 400 for like a first headphone. 550 is just like, why are you throwing that extra $50 at me? It feels like I'm paying for accessories. Anyway, wallpaper available in the description. Sound demo linking to the other channel where I do sound demos linked in the description. Links to everything I fucking talk about, everything ever in the description. And Patreon and Subscribe Star. If you want to see these reviews early, which now that I've gone every other day, when I do a review and get it out, you can get up to like 2 weeks without public seeing it. So if you really want something or really don't want something and you want to make an informed decision, you might want to join that for $5 a month and get into the yard sale as well, where I don't think they want these back. I will probably yard sale these. Like they failed, but you know, you don't have to pay for that failure, at least not full price. Join the yard sale and you can bid $139.88 on these, and I will ship for free continental United States and half shipping for international bids. If you're somewhere in Madagascar and you're like, I really need these are the ones I want. I want exactly the problems you're talking about with the broken driver and everything. Actually, they do have a rattly driver. I might try to fix that before I sell them. Maybe I'll just tell them to give them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if these end up in the yard sale because that's a broken piece of equipment. I'd rather not sell that in the yard sale if I don't have to. I don't have to sell anything in the yard sale, right? Yeah. So $5 a month. See reviews early. Participate in yard sales. $10 a month if you want to ask me questions directly in the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat where I check my phone 10 times a day. More like 35 times a day, but I don't want to feel like a loser that checks his phone 35 times a day. But I will answer any questions, and so will everyone else in that group. So just at Zeos Pantera when you're in there, and I will answer. Eventually. I'm usually when I'm on the toilet. Is that it? Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forums are taking off and being a thing, so I welcome you to the Z Reviews community and the rage. This is one of those like videos when Zeos, why do you like everything? I don't. I just don't like being disappointed. And if something doesn't disappoint, then I give a good review. But this is disappointing. So it gets a meh. A hard meh review. Anyway, I'm going to pack this shit up and do something else now. So thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in 2 days.